Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn.
Linkar is going to teach you all a lesson you want to learn.
I am Deat,
I am Potato Man.
but today we're not going to talk about bad comics. Well, maybe we'll talk about bad comics. It depends on what Potato Man here thinks.
I hate Wally West.
Oh, you do? Okay, we'll get into it. We'll take a swig. Okay, so we're going to read what is essentially the prologues to Doomsday Clock, which are Rebirth, the Rebirth special that kicked off the DC Rebirth initiative, and Batman the Flash, the Button. So do we have any pre-ramble we want to get off first?
I don't. Maybe, unless if you do, you go ahead.
No, not really. I mean, I do realize we spent like 30 minutes talking about Tom King and like 10 minutes talking about Flashpoint in the last review. So we'll have to stick on a topic, but we're going to talk about multiple comics here. So, I guess the actual pre-ramble is the New 52 and Rebirth. So you're familiar with the New 52 was?
Right? Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Flashpoint.
After Flashpoint was the new shit.
After Flashpoint, they restart the entire universe, except Grant Morrison's Batman comics were still canon because he was in good talks with the publishers, the editors in chief. So he got to keep his Grant Morrison's comics were kept in canon because of Batman Incorporated, which is weird. A lot of this Blackest Night was also still canon because Jeff Johns, and Batman Year One was also still canon to an extent. So there was still weird stuff that was kept canon, and stuff that wasn't kept canon. But it's basically a new universe, and I loved it. I loved it when it happened, but eventually it became tiring, and the comics got bad, like it always does. Which is what so they eventually got to this thing called Rebirth, where they're trying to revamp the entire thing. Big things that happened were Scott Snyder's Batman run came to an end, and they killed off New 52 Superman, which happens in the Rebirth book. He's still dead. That's like the one version of Superman that's like the death has stuck. He is still dead. But the New 52 Superman got brought back into the continuity via timey-wimey shenanigans. I do not remember how that ended up happening, but he came back into the fold, or at least a version of him came back into the fold. So, and Jeff Johns had a comic idea they wanted to write for a long time called Doomsday Clock. So all these things came in on each other. So what the Rebirth special is about is setting up this new rebirth. Like, the world has completely changed. It's a new world. It's a lighter world. And not much has changed except one thing, which is Wally West gets brought back into the universe. Which, Potato, you said you do not like Wally West.
I was mostly kidding, but a lot of stuff that they do with Wally West is not good.
After this, what they did with Wally West was atrocious.
Yeah, what they did now is fine.
With Wally West until Heroes in Crisis was good.
Yeah.
Heroes in Crisis is like, oh, that's a bad count. Because it really runs what this does. I love the scene where Flash and saves Wally. I love the whole setup where it's like, someone stole our history. Who stole our history? Which I didn't figure it out because I hadn't read Watchmen when when I read the Rebirth thing. I was like, who stole the history? What's going on? And the whole thing is very interesting. Like the worlds get destroyed, timelines get shifted. It's a meta commentary on retcons, basically, which happens every once in a while with Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns.
I like the Rebirth special a lot. I mean, it's mostly just like, okay, now Damien's 13 now. He stayed 13 for like 5 years, I might add. It took him a while to age him up to 14. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the Rebirth. I mean, what do you think of the comic by itself?
I think it was decent. I'm also a big fan of the Liberty saving Wally West scene. And there was Batman picking the pin. He had the pin in at the end from whatever.
Which I didn't even realize until I reread it that's supposed to be like a reference to the ending of Mask of the Phantasm, where he finds like that locket from Adrian at the end and he cries. Like he sees like just a shimmer. This time he finds the button, which is like when this came out, that was the most insane fucking shit. Like literally, no one would have been like, "Oh shit, that's the Watchmen button." Holy shit, that's like the most out of nowhere thing. That's like if what would be a good comparison? That's like if in the new Mission Impossible it ended with him finding this like a stormtrooper helmet and being like, "Oh shit, Star Wars." Like it's so like out of nowhere, but it works with what they're like trying to set up. Yeah. A lot of stuff happened in Jeff Johns' Justice League 1. One being Batman found out that there were 3 Jokers the entire time, which will come back. That fact will come back.
I'm weeping that it will come back.
Yeah, Damon turned 13. They kill off the Pandora character, which they kill her off in what is a shot-for-shot, panel-to-panel recreation of Rorschach's death, which is kind of absurd.
I wonder if they had any influences.
I wonder if there's some influences on this.
I wonder if there's some influences, guys.
Because it is like trying to like bring back a light-hearted thing with the universe, like try to fix things. Of course, I mean we'll probably get into Doom. We'll get into. We definitely get into this when we talk about Doomsday Clock. But the reason I think Doomsday Clock really exists is Jeff Johns wanted a rebuttal to Watchmen. He wanted to be like, well, there's good with there being superheroes. It doesn't have to be. The reality doesn't have to be nihilistic.
I think that'd be fine if Doomsday Clock wasn't Doomsday Clock.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll get to it. That's going to be the crux of everything. The Rebirth it's pretty necessary to understanding Doomsday Clock and this entire thing, and it is kind of just a setup / sequel. It also brought Ted Kord back in the Blue Beetle. It brought the stuff back into the universe. Which I love Ted Kord. Ted Kord's my dude.
My go.
He is canonically a conservative. Just the one conservative superhero. Yeah, because Steve Ditko made him.
That's my go right there.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't really have all that much to say about Rebirth. I just like it, and I think it was like a good starting point. And when it came out, there was some bad comics. I really did not like the Rebirth Hellblazer, at least the first volume of it. But
Yeah.
the Superman and Action Comics, those were great. Titans was great. So was the first couple Teen Titans comics before they went off the deep end with Gay Aqualad. And then Batman was really great until Tom King lost his mind.
Where's my mind?
But I think really, because the problem is Doomsday Clock kind of should have been an event, more of an event than it was. Not as an event comic, I mean, but it should have. It lasted 3 years. It took 3 years for them to finish it. So the entire universe just changed around them, and they didn't know what to do. So Doomsday Clock feels completely disconnected from the main DC universe, pretty much. At that point, and there was one other thing I was trying to say. Oh yeah, Heroes in Crisis, that kills everything that's good here, mostly because of Wally. They ruined Wally's character.
We're gonna cover that, right?
I don't want to cover Heroes in Crisis. Have you read Heroes in Crisis?
Unfortunately.
You have. Let's just talk about it now. I don't give. I'm not going to actually sit down and read it again.
I don't remember it enough. I just know it's shit.
Yeah, it was shit. It was really bad, and
it's shit.
It's the worst thing Tom King has ever written.
Okay, I think that covers Heroes in Crisis, right?
Yeah, it's about Heroes in Crisis. I'm putting the thumbnail. Potato Man and Deat talk Heroes in Crisis.
It's 1 second long. It's shit.
Yeah. It's bad.
It's bad.
He should be ashamed, Tom King. He doesn't like it either. I think he doesn't care for Heroes in Crisis, from what I've heard. But
good.
Do we have a final verdict on Rebirth? Because I really do not have that much more to add. Other than it got me to read Watchmen. Finally, when it came out, I was like, "Oh, I have Watchmen in trade paperback. I'm gonna play Watchmen. I should read Watchmen."
Jeff John's name is not normal Jeff. It is Geoff. And I think that's stupid, and I think that's why
he's such an inconsistent writer.
Yeah, that's why he's such an inconsistent writer.
Yeah. So 7 out of
10. Yeah. There's like the end scene with the clock, and it's like, oh, there's
nothing
why.
ever ends.
Nothing ever ends. Yeah, that no way. Guys,
it is
I wonder.
It is a pretty hype, like epilogue.
It is.
So let's talk about the comic I actually really like. Batman the Flash, the Button.
This is good.
It's Joshua Williamson, who's very hit or miss, and Tom King, who's very hit or miss. So it's very good that one takes 2 issues, the other takes another 2 issues. So we miss the misses. I don't think this was propped up enough because it's kind of integral to understanding Doomsday Clock, but it does a lot. I mean, the opening setup is Batman is he's watching a hockey match turn incredibly violent. What should be a simple, enjoying sport becomes violent and dark very fast as he is playing with the Watchman button. Do you get the metaphor?
Yeah, do I get the metaphor, D? What metaphor? Whatever do you mean?
That the simple enjoyment of a hockey game is ruined by the violence.
And while he's playing with the Watchman pin
Yeah. I wonder what commentary there is there. It's still more subtler than Grant Morrison's commentary. It plays with the 9-panel grid a bit, like looking right here. The button strikes the Psycho Pirate's mask, Psycho Pirate is like the only guy who remembers every single DC continuity.
Yeah, he was there in Infinite Crisis, wasn't
Yeah, and he shows up in. Does he show up in Sandman?
I don't remember. I would know this. I have read all of Sandman.
I think he shows up in Sandman.
He might. I generally don't
But
remember.
he does show up in Animal Man. He was literally like, "Did Marv Wolfman send you?" That's a line. No, it did the Wolfman send you? It's like there was an entire universe before us, and it's gone. Like he literally like breaks the fourth wall pretty hard.
Psycho Pirate might have actually not been in Sandman.
Yeah, it would make that. It would feel like a character Neil Gaiman would play with.
Yeah, but he's not. Dr. Destiny is. But he's not Psycho Pirate. Yeah. He's just insane.
Oh, once the button strikes Psycho Pirate's mask, which he got from Psycho Pirate and the mainline Tom King Batman, it strikes Thomas Wayne Batman back as like a ghostly figure. Did somebody get shot? What the hell? I hear sirens in your background. We'll keep that in.
New York. I
New York.
I'm not the biggest fan of the 9-grid thing, but I am a big fan of one specific page.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'm analyzing this first issue right here. Because he plays with it, he looks through it, and then boom, the Reverse Flash comes back. But it's not the New 52 Reverse Flash. It's the Reverse Flash from the end of Flashpoint. And then he beats up. It's a really cool action scene where there's like the timer.
Yeah.
And then
really cool.
The red and yellow. I mean, it's on the nose, but it's cool visually.
Yeah.
I really. I mean, there's also a reference a bit to in one page to Dark Knight Returns. With him being like, "Get out of my cave. You have to know. You can't win. I know, but I don't need to win." And then he strikes up the fist pose from the famous Dark Knight Returns splash page. I just need 11 seconds, which is a cool line. It's such a cool fight. And then Batman loses. He gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
He's like pathetic. And then he finds the Watchman pens. He's like, "No, what is the mystery of you?" And then he's gone. Then he comes back in one page that is so hype.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. And
he gets
says,
Stuckmanized.
God. God. I saw God. That's the coolest shit.
It's like such how else would like you have to justify like how do you see someone like Dr. Manhattan? It's like that was God, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's such a good opening to the mystery, and that's how the comic ends. It ends on that note, and then just Flash comes. That's the intro. That's how we introduce this, and then the next issue has this really good moment where Flash sees dead the rest of Zoom, and he has this part where he looks at the body and he just whispers, "It's over, Mom." It's like, oh, it's just like this bit of closure where his like fight with Zoom is kind of just over now. It's done.
It's over.
And from that point, it's a bit of a like buddy cop mystery with Batman and the Flash. Just like immediately picking up basically from the Rebirth special. He goes to this place that has all these like lost trinkets, the lost and found. It has all these little references in it to characters and stuff.
Batman.
And then he brings it out. He brings out the cosmic fucking treadmill, which is also a hype scene. And then Batman comes. He's like bloodied and like broken down and like barely holding himself together. And he's like, "I want to come with you. This is my case, Strawberry." He just doesn't care. Just like, yeah, I want to come.
Oh,
I mean, he wants to come because of his dad. I mean, that's the reason. Oh yeah, also in that fight scene, he destroys the letter.
Yeah, that was so rude.
That's so fucked up, bro.
He's just an asshole.
Yeah, but then they go through it, and then they see all the universes, and they see like Identity Crisis and all these other events. Like just be able to peek in this universe until the cosmic treadmill just falls apart, and they're stranded in a universe. And what universe are they stranded in? It's the Batcave. But then he sees a gun in a glass. He's like, "This is the gun that killed my parents." And he looks behind him, and who does he see? Who does he see, Potato?
Who does he see?
Yeah, in the Batcave.
In the Batcave? Batman, of course.
He sees Thomas Wayne Batman.
John Thomas Wayne Batman.
And then we have basically I like Thomas Wayne Batman. I think I like Thomas Wayne Batman written by Tom King more than anything else. Just in this one issue. It's he uses the character perfectly. Well, it's not explained. It's just basically he's back in the Batcave, and the Atlanteans and Amazons are wanting to kill him. And he's like ready to blow everything up. But then Batman and Flash show up. Like the Flashpoint shouldn't exist. Like, why is it here? I mean, basically the reason it's here is because Doctor Manhattan is keeping it around. For whatever reason, or no, it's still yet to be completely erased. Because this is very interesting. Will we just get this brief moment? This is like the only time Batman ever gets to meet his dad again. And he only has like a couple of seconds to be with his dad before they have to leave. Like you get this good moment where it's right here. I'll put it on the screen where they talk about him and his dad in the cave. They just have this brief moment. It's like barely you were whispering because you didn't want to scare the bats. And then they have to leave. And then the world just like it's being destroyed, it's being disintegrated. And he's like, "Come with me, father, please." And fucking Thomas Wayne pushes him onto the treadmill. And it's like he can't be with his father. And then he's gone. And we just have this my favorite moment I think in the entire book next to the I saw God moment. Say, are you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Is the part where he's like talking about his memory with his son as the universe is going. And he just says, "We rise," and then he just runs into the whiteness as the world is being destroyed.
That's
and he's
cool.
gone. That should be where Thomas Wayne ends. That should be where they should have stopped it. But they brought him back in a comic we'll talk about next month. I hate it because it's such a beautiful moment. It's like this piece of beauty. Like it occurred to me, it's like, oh yeah, this was back when Tom King could write. It's a great moment. I really like it. But then they have to face off against Zoom. Like he made this. You got time shenanigans again.
He's big.
He's got the button.
What? Cool. Yeah, he is. He is the button, guys. What we gotta do.
And we get this. It's a pretty fun action scene, I'd say. There's not much depth to it, but we do see he does encounter. He's like, ah, my God, wait, I didn't know, please don't. He just like he encounters Dr. Manhattan, and he just doesn't know what to do. And then he gets stuck when eyes. It's still a good moment, even though I'd prefer it that he was just like sucked up or something.
Then the real deal, the OG Flash, he shows up.
Yeah, that seems great too. He's like, I'm free Jay Garrick. Because I love Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick's my dude. They saves him. It's a really cool scene, but they try to do. He tries to get Barry to save him, like he did with Wally, but then he can't. And Dr. Manhattan snatches him back up, which is what I think the theme of this comic ultimately is, if it really has one, is that you can't always save the past. He's able to defeat Zoom, but he can't bring his mom back. He can't bring Jake Garrick back, and Batman can't bring his dad back. I mean, because Darkman is never mentioned by name in this. I mean, we know it's him because of Doomsday Clock in the ending, and we have this little thing at the end where they visit Thomas and Martha Wayne's grave. We have this thing where it's like you have to come into terms with the fact that you can't save the past, you can't save everyone, which is what Flashpoint, the comic, was supposed to be about, but it was so clumsy. We talked about it last week. It was very clumsy in its approach to everything. This does it way better in my opinion. And I mean, it has the exact same type of ending as Rebirth, where we just get a Dr. Manhattan tease where he picks up the button. We have a quote from it, but then we have this like 2 9-panel page thing at the end. We see the button floating in space, and it zooms in on the red, and it zooms out, and it's the Superman logo.
And then there's one of those things with the quotes.
I mean, again, it's pretty on the nose, like the parallel. Where what Superman basically represents the hope in the comic book medium, and then the button, the iconic button, represents the darkness of the comic book medium, the most famous dark comic book. I mean, there's more meta commentary than people think. I remember I watched Quinn reviews did a review of Doomsday Clock, and he didn't pick up on any of this shit.
Like,
he did because it's there. Because I think I love Watchmen. I think Watchmen's like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, or 9 out of 10 masterpiece, whatever you want to call it. But it has done like irreparable damage, or no, not irreparable damage. It's done pretty bad damage to comic books as a medium, somewhat, because every comic wants to be Watchmen. It gets like it. You like superheroes? Nah, superheroes have to be dark and drab. You can't take superheroes seriously. Though, I mean, we've read Batman: The Long Halloween. We know you can take superheroes seriously.
Yeah.
And of course, Alan Moore, like he still hates superheroes. Well, he hates the idea of superheroes and taking them seriously. He kind of just hates everything he's created. And
that's because he's British.
Yeah, and Grant Morrison's approach to critiquing Alan Moore is to critique Alan Moore, which he does in his Superman 3D comic in Final Crisis.
Yeah.
The way this Jeff Johns and Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, which is another comic I've been reading, it focuses on critiquing the work, because Alan Moore agrees that Watchmen has done bad to the industry. So you can't just like be mad at Alan Moore. You have to critique the work, because it's the most famous comic book, pretty much. Like that and Action Comics #1. Those are like the 2 most famous comic books. Everybody Watchmen's still like really well sold.
Watchmen's famous comic.
And there's comics I like more than Watchmen. I like Long Halloween more than Watchmen. And Long Halloween's at like the bottom of my top 5. There's still like
yeah, I got you.
You got like H. Bomber guys like Watchmen is the only good comic book type thing.
I mean, that's not. You can't say like that's not fair because H bomber guy is like
Retarded.
mentally deficient.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I've been just thinking about. I mean, I guess we just wrote that thing, but I've been thinking about comics as a medium because I love comic books as an art form, but I hate comic books. I hate what this industry has become, and
Yeah.
how there's no way to artistically escape that. It's like if movies were still stuck in like the 1950s Hollywood system instead of what happened where it branched out into new wave and new Hollywood, and we had experimental films. I mean, we still had that. We almost got that with Vertigo in the 90s, but then it regressed. Because comic books don't just have to be about superheroes, but at the same time, there's nothing really inherently wrong with superheroes. Because it's a great gateway into various forms of science fiction. But at the same time, it shouldn't be entirely held onto superheroes as a concept. Even the serious work, the constructivist work like Watchmen. It's interesting. It's a conversation that's been had over and over again, but no one has really come to the conclusion of how to save the industry. Really, I mean, there's the Comicsgate guys which believe that it's just because of the politics. Which the politics, I still agree that's bad. The amount of politics in mainstream comic books, but that's not the only problem.
I think the biggest problem with comics is there's too many mentally ill people writing them, and they should stop doing. They should have a litmus test for like. I mean, well, okay. I actually no. Let me take that back, because you have to be ill. You have to. There has to be something fundamentally wrong with you if you want to be creative enough. If you're creative enough to
That's why I have enough respect for Frank Miller and Grant Morrison. Even though they've made a lot of stuff I don't like, they're still like creative enough to make stuff I do like.
Yes, and they also both have gone batshit crazy.
Yes.
So
I think the latest things Grant Morrison has written were like tie-in comics to Klaus, like the Netflix movie. There's like something called Klaus that is in his Wikipedia. I was trying to check it. I guess now's a good enough time to talk about the Coyote Gospel.
Coyote Gospel.
Because this fits into everything we're talking about, pretty much. I've been reading through Grant Morrison's Animal Man run. So far, I love it. I think it's very, very good. I think it gets a bit up its own ass a couple times, but it's held together by the fact that Animal Man and his family are really fun characters. They're endearing enough. They're really wholesome, heroic characters. I like
He's
Animal
wearing
Man.
booty shorts.
He is wearing booty shorts.
He's getting rid of all the meat and wearing booty shorts. Kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucked up.
Issue 5 is where a lot of people say the series really starts. I mean, the first 4 issues were just like a mini series done just for the character, and then they signed it up to be an ongoing. And then Grant Morrison really started building this meta narrative thing, which is homaged in Rebirth and Doomsday Clock. Well, how do we summarize the plot of the Coyote Gospel? So, there's this guy, and he's driving with a girl. And they're talking about stuff. He's religious, and she's going to Hollywood. And they run over this giant monster, and it reshapes itself and regenerates itself back together in a really gruesome, very striking sequence. And then it's Wile E. Coyote.
Oh my god.
And then it has like this paper around his neck. And then we cut to
Buddy.
Animal Man, Buddy Baker. And he's become He's in booty shorts, and he's become a vegetarian after meeting Bwana Beast. And he's like, his family doesn't like it, but he's like, I have enough respect for the animals. I don't want to eat meat. It's like, I just don't want to do it. And everybody's making fun of him, so it's like kind of this conflict where he's losing a bit of conflict with his family. He's like trying to change as a person, but we get back to the guy, and it's been like, I'm trying to remember if it's like a year or a week or something between between when he ran over the coyote. I think it's a week, but everything in his life is fucked up. Everything in his life is fucked up, pretty much. And like the girl he was driving with, she like overdosed. His friend died. Let me bring up the comic so I can read everything that fucking happened.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, he really is wearing booty shorts.
Yeah. It says it all started to go wrong last year in the fall. 2 years. Yeah.
It's been a year.
Yeah. It's been a year. And 2 weeks after, shit has just gone down bad for him.
Yeah, it's just like his friend died, and she became a prostitute that died of an overdose, and all this stuff. And he blames the coyote, and he's setting up these bombs and stuff, and he wants to kill the coyote. And there are a couple of times where they kind of look directly in the camera. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking, but he shoots the coyote, and it's literally like a Roadrunner play where he falls down into like a big puff of dust, and then he gets a rock knocked onto him, and all this stuff. Because it's like Roadrunner versus Wile E. Coyote type of thing. But then Animal Man comes to try to save him. But it's like Coyote's like still, it's like this monstrous figure. There's a bomb. Oh no, there's a bomb. It gets blown up, and this is all happening on the crossroads. There's a really striking thing where it's the coyote blown up. It just looks like a horrifying monster.
The devil is purgatory and over the Burma.
Yeah.
Because Paul thinks he's the devil.
He thinks he's the devil, and he wants to kill him. He thinks they will save the
thing. I won't blame him. Looks horrifying.
Yeah, if I ring over a monster in the desert, that would freak me out. But Animal Man comes down, sees the Jeep, sees what's going on, and the coyote gives him the rope that's around, or the page that's around his neck. And then he reads it, and it's like, he came from a cartoony world, where he was literally just Wile E. Coyote. And he decided to question his existence, and he went to meet God, which, okay, if you look at the panel where it's him meeting God, he's on a yellow platform with a red stream of paint over it. I think Grant Morrison is trying to put a connection here. Maybe. I'm just saying, there's a lot of yellow and red going on with these three comics.
And God has a big paintbrush.
He has a big paintbrush, and he tries to write. He sends him to a different reality. He uses the paintbrush to send him to a different reality, where he's no longer cartoony, and he's dark, he's serious, he's violent, he's grotesque. He gets eaten at by vultures like Prometheus, and he came there and he wanted to share the gospel so he can meet the tyrant god and overthrow him. And then we cut to Buddy reading the paper, and it's gibberish. He says, I can't read it. And then he gets fucking shot and dies. And then there's like this part is like strange, no pain. And he says, "Oh Billy, I did it. I saved the world." And then the the guy passes out and dies, and then the coyote passes out and dies, being crucified in the crossroads. It's such like an insane ending to a comic book. It's
you got the part he's crucified to the crossroads, and like the giant hand of God with a paintbrush paints the blood red.
It's insane. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so bold. It's so straight to the point. And it's kind of beautiful in a way. But also just like it's absurd. It's so absurd. It's a critique on the cartoon facing the reality. Let's see. He killed him with a silver bullet. He screams Satan, which is like at the gun with the gun that's directed point directly at the camera, at the artistic camera. But he also in this thing he shoots through the gospel, which I kind of think is why it kills him. It's because the gospel's destroyed, which you can kind of say that's maybe a religious metaphor. But yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. It's just a dark ending, and the Amorite doesn't really do that much. He just shows up.
He shows up like Jesus shit happens.
It's insane. I love the cover on it too. It's currently my Discord profile picture where he's like crucified on the comic panel.
Here's the thing. This is batshit insane, right? Here's the thing. Deat just asked me to read this. Like out of the blue. I was like, can you read this? Like right before. The thing is, I didn't even read like the stuff before. So I just read this. I was like, what the? I was kind of like, I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, insane. Insane. But you understand why I made you read it, right? With the comics we chose.
Yes, yeah. It's similar theming. Similar themings.
And also, I do think it is an inspiration for how Dr. Manhattan is handled in the other two books. With the god that's controlling the continuity, controlling the world, and is keeping the light away, type of thing. It's interesting. It may be my I don't know. It may be my favorite. No, I like All Star Superman a lot, but it may be my favorite thing Grant Morrison's written. Just that single issue. It's very concise. It's very straight to the point. And it's just insane.
Yeah,
I love the art in the series too. It is like cartoony, but still like serious and vivid.
I can only speak on like the Coyote's Gospel, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the art also as well.
Yeah, I recommend checking out the rest because it's only 26 issues. The entire thing. So far it's pretty quick to read through. I haven't gotten to the end though. I'll tell you, maybe at the end I'll be like, that sucks. But Coyote Gospel is just like a singular thing. Is really good. I also like to use Coyote Gospel just as like a saying to represent like forcing cartoons and to adhere to reality or vice versa. Like we're gonna make a dark and gritty reboot.
Dark and gritty reboot.
Yeah, it's a really great comic. It prepares us for Doomsday Clock.
For Doomsday Clock.
Oh boy. We're gonna get the Doomsday Clock.
So that's up next.
That's up next. If we can get through it. Just of course I got moving shit to get through. But I'll try to read through Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, read Doomsday Clock, and we gotta read we should probably read Watchmen.
I already know Watchmen like by heart, so I'll be like prepared.
Yes.
I used to like read that thing like the Bible. Like just like take like passages, basically just like read a page. Because it has all these little stories in it. So, Watchmen used to be my favorite piece of art. It's not anymore. For a variety of reasons.
It's
I also think I missed the point as a kid. But yeah, I like watching. You ever what potato?
So, is Mike and Melissa your favorite piece of art now?
Yes, my favorite piece of art is Mike and Melissa. No, it's Suburban Nights. It's my favorite piece of art.
You're I just don't believe that.
Below Job by Andy Warhol. This is my favorite.
That also I don't believe. I believe that even less.
I don't know if I have a favorite piece of art. The Bible?
But
I don't
know.
That's one.
That is one.
I like Enter the Gungeon. No, I don't. I couldn't say whether to put my finger on a favorite piece of art.
Is Animal Man gay?
No, he's straight.
But look, he's wearing fucking booty shorts.
Straight men can wear booty shorts too, potato.
How many straight men do you see wearing booty shorts? You're not.
Buddy Baker.
Don't count Patrick Swayze. He doesn't count.
Patrick Swayze's dead too, though.
He's dead also. Yeah, that's true. And he was also like an actor in the '80s. He's probably slightly gay. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're all slightly gay.
Still slightly gay.
He's the one straight.
Are you sure? He's getting rid of meat. He's a fucking vegan, and he's wearing fucking booty shorts. You telling me that?
Yeah.
You telling that saying that man isn't a homosexual?
Maybe he's bisexual. I was listening to some Come Town, and there was like a thing where they're talking about pretending to be gay to get pussy. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm just gonna fuck you, but I won't look at gay porn while doing it.
My God.
Which is what happens in Kick-Ass. Well, that doesn't happen in Kick-Ass. He pretends to be gay to get pussy. So, what would you give the Flash Batman the Button out of 10?
I mean, more than a 7 out of 10, because that's what we gave Rebirth.
I would give it like a 7.5, maybe an
8. Yeah.
It's stronger. It's much stronger.
It's much stronger.
And
I wouldn't go above. I wouldn't go above 8. I would not go above 8.
8 for me is like 8. Great. I'd say it's it borders on great. I think it's also at the end of the day, it's just when you strip everything down, it's just a fun Batman Flash adventure. And Coyote Gospel, 10 out of 10. I don't know what else to say. Actually, I don't know that many comics I give a 10 out of 10 to. I mean, let's see. Long Halloween, I'd give a 10 out of 10. Punisher Soviet, I'd give a 10 out of 10. I'd give 10 out of 10 to The Crow. I just like the Coyote Gospel a lot. I think it's stuck in my mind. Just that final page of like the My Baby Blue, basically, but it's with the coyote being crucified on the crossroads.
That's an insane image. I think that's something you just can't
walks into this shit too.
Yeah. I mean, that's something you just can't forget, because that's like, I know I wouldn't.
I would not. But yeah, I like it. If we If you don't have to give a rating if you don't want to.
The COYOTE GOSPEL.
Yeah.
At least I think it's real. I think it's really good, right?
Yeah.
At least probably a 9 out of 10.
Sweet. I think it's just one of
I,
those great single issue comics for me personally. It's one of the strongest works from one Grant Morrison, who's a crazy man.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, if we don't get through Watchmen within the week, I have two potential backups that we could do a show on.
I know.
Being Pax Americana, which is another Grant Morrison book, but that's him deconstructing Watchmen. And then Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. But no guarantee on us doing that. It just depends on how fast we can get through Doomsday Clock, because it's thick. It's a thick book.
Next episode. Next episode, we're doing Batman Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Oh my gosh. Do another
I just another Frank Miller. Dark.
You know what?
No,
I think this has been a pretty good
die.
episode.
Yeah.
I think this has been a pretty good episode. I'm open to re-listening to this. I just hope Craig has saved the audio.
I hope. We didn't even let you.
It saved the audio perfectly last time, maybe because you see. But yeah, this was good. I liked our talk.
Yeah.
When do we start recording? Yeah, this is about an hour. Well, anything else you want to say, Potato?
I think I still think that Flashpoint was a mistake. They should stop doing that.
It was just a mistake. Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about Flashpoint anymore, technically.
Nope. We're talking about good comics for the most part.
Yeah. And then we get the Doomsday Clock.
We'll see. We'll see what we do with that one.
I'm so excited.
It's exciting because no one has talked about Doomsday Clock in 3 years, so.
For good reason.
For good reason. Well, I've been Deat.
I've been Potato Man.
And this has been our talk. Later.
This is comic theory.
It's just a theory. A comic theory. Thanks for watching.
Watching.
How I turn this off.